Hello everyone. Have you ever wanted to make an AMV or maybe a anime theory or prediction video and you wanted to use your favorite anime clips in this to make it pop or make it spicy, but you, like me, were afraid that if you did this, you would get an infringement or a copyright strike on your account? Well, I got a treat for you today. We're taking special guest Maddy Case from Sugoi Media, who's aiming to create a platform to address these matters, a platform for creators to safely and properly source media to use in their various videos, a platform to advocate for creators and show the benefit that they are adding to the industry at large, and also to advocate for the animators themselves, the ones that aren't making livable wages, creating our favorite series that we love and adore. If this is something like me you're interested in, make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this video and hear what she has to say, and also check out her platforms that I'll add in the description below. For now, guys, let's get into it. Hello everyone, hope we're doing all right. We're here with our special guest Maddy today from Sugoi Media. Am I saying that right? Sugoi, right? Sugoi Media. All right. Yeah, so I met Maddy a couple months ago, probably now, honestly, on Instagram, and I saw her idea and I just thought it was really cool and it encapsulated well with me. So I figured a lot of people that are in the anime community would really find value in hearing what she has to say about it. So I decided to get her on here to talk about it herself. But before we get into like the actual idea and the startup that you're doing, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about your background and, how you kind of got introduced to anime or manga, either or, how you kind of entered that world in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. It means the world. I am just a little person trying something big. So it means so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're glad to have you.
Thank you. So yeah, what got me into anime? I guess the first ever, I think like a lot of millennials my age, I really watched a lot of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So those were the main things that kind of like started me dabbling in it.
Of course.
Yeah, and then from there it was Miyazaki's films like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. And I also did somehow, I still have no idea to this day how it happened, but I acquired the first season in a DVD format of Fruits Basket.
Really?
Yeah, and I rewatched that over and over again, and I never told a soul that that I had it, that like I was watching it.
Right. That's kind of like me. I feel like that's pretty honestly relatable to a lot of people in this community. We get into it and we fall in love with it so young, and then it kind of maybe for a while we don't really want to share it with a lot of people. Like for me, an instance, like in high school, even really into college, I was like, I love anime, and I had things like Princess Mononoke, which was like one of my favorite films of all time, that I would always just rewatch and never talk to anybody about it because I was, either fear of looking downed upon or shunned or ostracized. But I mean, I loved it. How was that for you? Did you feel like carefree, shared it with anybody, or did you kind of keep it on the down low for a while?
Yeah, I 100% kept it on the down low.
Right.
It's so funny to think back to just how much I kept it on the down low. For instance, I had diary entries in like middle school and things like that, where I was like writing down how absolutely upset and depressed and mad at my sister I was. Because after we would get in a fight, she would threaten, I'm going to tell everyone.
Oh, really?
I was like,
the blackmail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I can definitely tell that, you started with the diary stuff early, because your writing style with the blog, for any of you who haven't checked it out yet, I'll put all the links in the bottom afterwards, but your writing style is definitely, I can tell you have some passion for it. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool to be able to dabble in that.
Right. Yeah. So I remember correctly reading your blog post, your first blog post. You did go to college, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where did you end up going to school?
Few people have heard of it, but I did graduate from Hobart and William Smith College.
Okay. Yeah. I actually know some people that went there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
By people, I mean one, but.
That's incredible. That's more than a lot of people.
Right.
So yeah, I did go there and I majored in computer science.
Computer science.
Yeah. But I also did have a double minor that I like to talk about.
Okay.
Which was environmental studies and philosophy.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but I was biology major, but my minor was like environmental politics and environmental policy science, basically. That's kind of,
that's so cool.
yeah. Did you, so you worked, was it like a corporate job, correct? Or something, or?
Yeah, that's accurate. I've just been a software engineer for, since I graduated in 2014. And I worked at some really big places, a lot of little small places, small startups, and one medium size.
Okay, that's cool. So when did you kind of like, birth the idea of starting this Sugoi Media? It seems like you have a lot of stuff, brewing up in the old Pandora's box.
I do. There's a lot of things going up in there. But essentially, I think it really happened during COVID. COVID affected a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
Right.
For me, it kind of opened the door to kind of like the dark sides that I had been avoiding.
Right.
Like I really loved software engineering, and the reason I loved it was because I loved the people that I worked with. And I lost that, right? Because you were stuck home all the time. And it just so happened that my boyfriend was also creating Twitch content. So he was just starting Twitch streaming. And me being a good girlfriend, I didn't want him streaming to the void.
Right.
So I was trying to help him out on Instagram, help him out with YouTube. And when I did that, I started exploring into video editing. And when I was doing that, I realized that, that's so much fun. And I really like doing it. But what I really wanted to do was to create anime music videos.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with those. Of course. Yeah. I think they're so cool. But I wanted to do that. And I realized that actually there's nowhere that you can go online, easily source that content to create that material.
Right. In the right way, at least.
Yeah. And I actually did try it the wrong way at first. I went to the site. There was porn all over the edges. I immediately felt unsafe. Like, this is not good. I shouldn't be doing it. And I did click download. And I think to this day, I still have some viruses that I haven't gotten.
They last, lasting viruses there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also like really relatable too. I mean, that's kind of how I entered into the YouTube world. I mean, prior to COVID, I was working, 40, sometimes more hours a week, and just really not having time to invest in myself, if you will. And I was always somebody that was super shy of public speaking or like getting in front of a camera. And it really wasn't until, I just kind of forced myself to do it. And I was like, I love anime. I always wanted to work somehow in the anime industry. And I mean, I'm not making money off of it, but I enjoy what I'm doing now. And that's really all I care about. So it's really cool to see how, in a way, COVID obviously being a bad thing kind of allowed people to make some good changes for their life in the future. Yeah. I
agree. I do want to express, obviously, I'm sure we both feel sorrow for people that are struggling a lot during this time.
Right.
But like you also said, for some people it was a blessing in disguise. So
it's definitely like a thin ice there. I mean, I lost my job, obviously, so I was kind of stuck on the down for a while, but then, it's all about how you pick your pieces up and put them back together, I suppose.
Exactly. I love that.
Right.
That's exactly. You got to keep the hope.
For sure. Yeah. So what was kind of your strategy or your way? I know that you said you saved up a lot. Did you kind of have to change your lifestyle? Because I don't know, for me and my wife to get to the point where we are now, we really had to become frugal and see things that, weren't needed and to cut out things and whatnot. So it's kind of cool that I see it seems like you did it in a similar way.
Yeah, I did. And it's actually probably even more similar if your wife had to also struggle and maybe lose her job, things like that. Because my boyfriend actually did quit too. So we were both unemployed. Right. And we did have to cut back on a lot of things. Food is one of our favorite things in the whole wide world.
Right, of course.
And we had to cut back on that, which was really hard. That was the biggest thing. And also just trying to fight my constant anxiety over not working.
Right. That kind of weight on the shoulders.
Because society does teach us you should be working all the time. Even if you have the money, you should still be working.
Right.
And it's I want to be able to spend that time investing on myself. So I'm not just working that corporate grind all the time. So yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, it's definitely kind of the societal viewpoint of it is doesn't matter if you really like it. You have to work basically. I mean, I think the healthiest thing to do is find a way to blend the two, you know? Is to like what you're doing in a sense. But yeah, so now that we talked about a little bit of your background, let's talk about Sugoi Media. Because I love how you kind of coined the phrase ACCs or like hidden heroes. Is I thought that was really cool. I never really thought about it in that way. I just always viewed it as, you know, they get copyright striked or they get any way to kind of keep them down happens. So I want to see like, what do you really see as them adding to the industry?
Yes. So obviously I'm doing Sugoi because I believe wholeheartedly in these anime content creators. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that I wanted to be one myself.
Right.
And honestly, it's kind of crazy to think about because they add so much free marketing for the anime industry. And a lot of industries, they really want to try to capture that. They want to try to capture that word of mouth power, right? They want to try to capture, they spend a lot of money on influencer marketing.
Right.
And anime content creators are literally doing all of that for free. And they're not getting a thank you. They're not getting a appreciation post or anything. And I think that's really terrible in a lot of ways.
Right.
So one of the biggest things is obviously that free influencer marketing that they offer. Another thing is the community buildings that they do. When I really started to learn more about these creators, I learned that they're experts at building communities. It's crazy. Like I would never have thought that you just create a Discord, have people join, and that people would ever talk to you. But it seems that these creators have unlocked that, or it's just been innate in them that this is how you build communities.
Right.
And
I mean, I think it's really, I agree with that too. I mean, as far as like the influence and the marketing for free, I mean, being a smaller YouTuber, I remember one of my first videos when I had like 20 subscribers, I had like maybe a 5 or 6 second clip of an anime in one of my videos and I got copyright striked. I was like, I'm not even making money off this. Is literally like free advertisement to, you know, albeit 20 people, but still it's crazy that they don't really see the added benefit of these videos, especially with the community too. I think that could honestly, as far as out, you know, in the United States and whatnot, that could help gang, you know, like I guess more of a fan base over here, because like we were talking about in the past, a lot of us feel like we can't talk about our passion for anime out of being, you know, fear of being looked down upon or whatever. So creating these Discord channels or YouTube also creates communities for people to share that passion, which is why I started my YouTube channel. It's just I wanted more friends to talk about anime with, instead of forcing my friends around the house or in the neighborhood to like watch something and then they not like it. So it definitely, you know, it helps grow everything in a way. Which is
it absolutely does. And what the title that you have been in, at least when you're just describing that, when you posted that clip, that's actually a nano influencer. You might not have been aware of it, but that's the term that you were at that point.
Okay.
And there is a term for that in the industry because it is valuable, right? Like you will make that one person at least convert over and maybe watch the anime, maybe stream it through Crunchyroll, Funimation, anywhere.
Right.
Their preferred streaming platform.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, as far as like deciding which anime to watch, like I've been an anime fan since honestly, probably Dragon Ball Z or like Naruto when I was really young and it first started airing on Cartoon Network. And I remember like back then when there really wasn't YouTube for it, I just watched whatever was airing. But since like the explosion of YouTube onto the scene, every single anime I watch is based off of, you know, the Anime Man or like Connor, Sea Dog VA, like all these big Anitubers that talk about shows and either recommend to watch them or not to watch them. So in a way, that's how the Western audience really picks and chooses for the most part. I'm sure there's some that don't.
Crazy. Right. Yeah, that's crazy accurate, because it's also like when you think about the number of people on YouTube who are just like in the younger populations, it's astronomical. Right. And those are the same people that love anime too. So it coalesces really well, coincides really well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So like, what do you see as an accomplishment? Like, what do you want to add to the community? Like, how do you see helping these content creators
Yeah.
with Sugoi Media?
So that's a pretty broad question, but
Yeah, I didn't really know how to concise or like make it
no,
more small.
that kind of leaves more room to answer it, I guess.
Right.
So honestly, I don't want too much to be centered around myself with Sugoi Media. I'm doing this because I see a need that needs to be, someone needs to do it, and no one else is, pretty much. But I really see just transforming the industry so that anime content creators, they don't have to worry about copyrights. They receive appreciation from the anime industry. They don't have to take on the risk of downloaded content illegally, right? And to save them time when they're creating content. I just use 4 letters right there. Yeah. Worry, appreciation, risk, and time. And that's because when I was first exploring this issue, I realized that anime content creators suffer from really bad warts. Okay. That's what I've like coined it as. Yeah. But that's also all of the things that I'm constantly trying to resolve, trying to lessen each of those problem points. Yeah. And so I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, that's very well said, because that's why I wanted you to come out and talk about this, because I did see it as a void as well. It seemed like there's this one thing that isn't available for all anime content creators, and that is what you're creating with Sugoi Media. And I think that it's a void that needs to be filled. So that's why I wanted to know more, and I wanted people who have never heard of it to, at least spark that interest, because I know it's not fully released yet. So it's a good time for people to hear about it and see what's to come, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I am excited too. And just so people know, the launch date is December 14th, and I'm petrified, but I'm petrified.
Yeah, that's awesome. You need a nice concrete release date. That's huge. Yeah. Congrats.
Thanks. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to, speak on or touch upon?
Let's see. In terms of just the question that you just asked, or
anything about the whole idea and project.
Oh, okay.
Give you some free reign here.
Okay. So I guess something I did want to talk about is just my strategy for how I intend for anime content creators to gain credibility in this space. And the first thing that I'm tackling right now, and I'm doing it right now as we speak, today, yesterday, the day before, and into tomorrow. Right. I aim to just spread awareness about anime content creators. Like, you inviting me onto this is a huge win for me, just because I love the idea that we can get this voice out to more creators. The more people that are in this fight with us, the more people we can actually, the higher the chances are that we can change the industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And then from there, I plan on enabling content creators. And this will be through Sugoi Media, which, just so people are more aware concretely, Sugoi Media is a platform that will host digital media IPs, like anime clips, media images, things like that, for content creators to use on YouTube, Instagram, whatever their preferred social media platform is. Yeah, so that's really the idea behind that.
That's awesome.
And the next step after that is to vocalize the anime industry that what these content creators make when they are provided high quality content is astounding, and they deserve to continue on that. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I hope that was clear.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, because I think that's going to add, I don't even know how much that's going to add to the community, because it's never been done before. So I'm so interested, and I'm definitely more than willing to help it grow in any way I can. I mean, I'm obviously not a huge, was you say nano influencer, right? Yeah. Yeah. So as a nano influencer, I definitely want to help it grow as much in any way as I can, because I think it's a great idea. For sure. And awesome. I have to give you some props for coming up with it, because nobody's been talking about this, really. Everybody's been kind of complaining and, upset with the way that it's been going, and nobody's tried to figure it out yet. So I'm interested to see where the path takes us.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, there goes my camera.
Oh no. Well, that was good timing for it, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're back. The camera's back on.
Yay.
Yeah. So is there something else you want to mention, or I know we kind of got caught off track there?
Yeah, I did really want to bring up one of the biggest parts to the entirety of Sugoi. Sugoi is not only so that we can support anime content creators, that is a massive part, but it's also to support animators in Japan. Right now, a lot of us are familiar and aware that animators are paid terribly. I think they're paid around $800 a month for if they're a new animator in the industry. And because of that, I think it's about 90% of animators actually do leave before they're able to continue on through their dream job.
Right.
And so something else that I will be supporting with Sugoi Media is donations to Animator Dormitory, which is a nonprofit based in Tokyo, Japan, that aims to solve the issue. And I think it's so incredible because it really does give anime content creators an opportunity to actually change the industry for the better. I've heard a lot of I don't know if you have as well, but I've heard a lot of Anitubers talking about this issue, and they're usually kind of like, well, there's nothing that we can do. We feel badly, but there's nothing that we can do.
Right.
So I do hope to change that.
Yeah.
Sorry, the sun went down, so I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing I live near the airport, so the jets haven't taken off yet, but usually during my podcast every week, they take off and it just shakes the whole house. Yeah, I think that is a very interesting topic because I've heard about it a little bit. I mean, I haven't researched it too much, but basically from my understanding, it's the top mangakas, the ones that are creating the series, kind of get all the revenue, and then there's just people that do all the animations, and then they're in the industry, whether it's they want to create their own manga at some point or they just love anime themselves, but they end up not really being able to get to that point, some of them, because they have to leave from the low wages. So I think that's definitely something that people should look into and just at least be aware of, and then check out was it Animator Dormitory?
Yeah, was exactly it.
Right. Yeah, that's something I'm going to definitely look into because it's been on the back burner a little bit for me, but
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to explain this to everyone. And if you guys haven't checked out Sugoi Media yet, the website isn't officially up, but she does have blog posts. She has her first YouTube video out and an Instagram channel. So you guys should definitely go check that out, subscribe to those, and stay tuned until December because the release is going to be awesome and I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for coming on, and everyone have a great rest of your day. Peace out.